Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I have a special guest with me today. I have my husband Joe, because we are going to be filming a baby names video. This has been requested quite a lot on like my pregnancy updates, and over on Instagram people have messaged me asking if I'm going to do a baby names video. And there are quite a few different variations of this. There's like the baby name tag that SJ Strum made, and there's like baby names I like but won't be using, and I was going to do those, but I thought we would do something ever so slightly different. We are going to basically do like a review of the top 100 girl and boy names. So in this video we are going to do the girl names, and then I will be doing the boy names as well, so I will leave that linked in a card and in the description once that is up, in case you wonder what we think of the boy names. So for reference, if you've never watched any of my videos before, I am currently 36 plus 6 weeks, so I'm 37 weeks tomorrow, pregnant with our first baby girl, so that's why I thought we'd do the girl one first. So yeah, let's just get cracking. So the list has come off of the Evening Standard. I was going to get this off the Office of National Statistics, but it turns out that's a lot harder to do than I thought. So without further ado, we're going to dive on into the top 100 girl names. So I'm going to just preface this with a quick like disclaimer kind of thing. Like, if I say anything that offends anyone, I do apologise. It's not intentional at all. Or like, if you have this name picked out or anything, it's not, you know, there's no offence to be taken from any of like our opinions. I just want to get that out there. So number one on the list for 2020 was Luna. So I've heard this quite a few times, and it's a really pretty name. I love the whole, like, what would you call it, like astrological, is that a word? Astrological, yeah, like star kind of themed kind of names. Really like them, but personally for me, and I know quite a few people have this as a pet name, so my sister included has a cat called Luna, so instantly out of the question. Not that it would go with our surname, but yeah, that's my opinion on Luna. What do you think of the name Luna?
Like you said, I would consider it more of a pet name than a human child name, but if it goes with your surname, then it would probably be nice.
Yeah, it's a nice name. It's not one of those that you think, oh no, like I don't really like that, and it's not particularly old-fashioned. It is quite like, without wanting to say it, it is quite like a trendy name, but yeah, for me it wouldn't work.
This is more subjective to us and what we could probably use rather than...
Yeah, so like I say, I wanted to do the baby names I like but won't be using, but then I also thought we haven't actually got a name picked out, so I could say half these names I won't be using and then end up going back to it. So I thought I would do it this way. I know there is a few on this list that are kind of on my list, at least, and ones that, again, I do like but I wouldn't use. So yeah, I figured it would kind of combine a lot of different variations of this video. So yeah, the second one is Aurora. So I love this name. Again, quite kind of, it's not really star themed, but it is more in that kind of category, because with like the Northern Lights, Aurora, that kind of thing. But one of my very good friends, Kerry, her daughter is called Aurora, and it suits her down to a T. It is just a beautiful name, and she is a beautiful little girl, and I love the name. I just think it's amazing. Again, I don't think, like, it wouldn't go with our surname, so I wouldn't ever use it. That, and like I say, one of my good friends has that name. Not that I'm against using names that other people have got, kind of thing, but yeah, I really like the name Aurora. And obviously it's a princess name, it's a Disney princess. What do you think of Aurora?
I think it's more pretty than Luna as a human name, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it is a pretty name.
Like I say, I'm thinking more for us. It wouldn't really be.
Yeah, but just in general, what do you think?
In general, it's a nice name. If it goes with your surname, and you can make it work, then it is pretty.
Yeah, and it's just a bit different as well. It's not like your bog standard kind of name, but it's also not completely out there. So I think, yeah, Aurora's probably going to do the rounds again this year, I would imagine.
I think some of these will probably stick around for a while. Yeah.
So number 3, bit of a weird one, and I think this has only come out of Sex Education. So if you've watched the Netflix series Sex Education, then you will know this name, Maeve. So I don't know how I feel about this name, to be honest. It's fairly old-fashioned, but it's not. It's not like.
Would not be a short, would not be a short name for Mavis. If you
possibly.
Mavis is quite an oldie. I would.
It's more, yeah.
I could more picture like a grandma called Mavis rather than like a young child called Mavis.
Yeah.
But Maeve's just seems like
a bit more of a moderner, version of it, I guess.
I don't know.
But I feel like, again, it's the older names trying to come back, but with a variation.
Probably.
So it is a nice one, but
it's not for me personally.
No,
I don't think. But
I don't think it would be one that I would use. Number 4 is Olivia. So I think this has been doing the rounds for the last few years now, Olivia and Oliver, which I think they are beautiful names. Again, I just feel like they're fairly traditional, but they're not like crazy old-fashioned names, but they are, and I hate to say it, they are very overused. There is a lot of people using these names. Obviously they are very popular, but you do want for your child to be like almost one of the only people in their class with that like name that they've got. Whereas I feel like with Olivia, there's probably quite a few Olivias. Or there will be, like in a few years' time. I think it is a nice name though, and like you can't really spell it wrong, you can't really say it wrong. It's one of those good kind of all-rounders, I feel like.
That's the thing, you're not going to get people asking you how to spell it constantly.
No, exactly. I think it is a good one.
I quite like Olivia's name.
I like Olivia. And then number 5, definitely one that I've noticed a lot more over the last kind of 5 years or so, I'd say. Quite a few kind of people that I watch have a daughter with this name and things, and that's the name Isla. I really like the name Isla, but I think it is one of those, again, you struggle to spell it, and some people don't really know how to say it if they like see it written out. So yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. Like I say, a lot more modern, but it's not one that I would probably use. It is pretty again though, very pretty name.
Yeah, you'll get so many questions that if you...
How do you spell it? And
if you're over the phone or something, they'll just be like, oh, well, is it... Yeah,
it is a bit of a...
I think you have to have the right surname to go with that too.
Number 6 is Ava, and again, this is one that I really like. One, because it's short, it's nice, like you can't really spell it wrong. I think the only issue may be where people get confused whether you're saying Eva or Ava, which I found with quite a lot of names that I like. There's that weird kind of thing. Ava, I do really like it. A friend of mine has a dog called Ava, but I don't think that would put me off like Luna. Luna to me seems more pet name than Ava. But yeah, do really like it. Nice and short, easy to spell and all of that. What do you think?
Yeah, the fact it's short is good. It's probably not a name
that you'd have thought
I would have... No, it's not one that I would probably consider.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I say, it ticks a lot of boxes. It's quite easy to spell, it's short, it's easy to learn. I don't think you
I don't think it would go out of fashion, and I don't think there would be many other kids with that name.
No, I think written down as well, it's easy to pronounce. I don't think you'd get the Eva thing that much.
No, it's more so if you said it to someone rather than had it written down,
I don't think it would be quite an easy name for a child to learn to read, spell, say, that sort of thing, but it's just not really, it wouldn't be one that I would choose probably off the list.
Okay. So number 7 is Charlotte. So fun fact, I was going to be called Charlotte until I came out and my dad ruined it. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone else that is possibly going to call their child Charlotte. There is a couple of different reasons as to why my mum changed her mind. The one that I'm not going to mention, and the other one, she didn't want me nicknamed Charlie. I personally love the name Charlotte. I think it's
traditional.
It is traditional, but it's not old-fashioned. I think it is a really nice name. For us, it wouldn't work just because it's so long. Again, I like that you can abbreviate it, or you can shorten it. You can call, you know, Charlie, Lottie. You know, there's a lot of different nicknames and shortened versions of it, which I do like. But yeah, I wouldn't use the name Charlotte, I don't think.
Probably not, like say, for the ease of being able to spell their surname, you'd have to have quite a short.
Yeah, I feel like name. Or like a Walker or a Jones kind of thing.
It's quite traditional British name, whereas if it was going with an Italian surname, it might not really.
Yeah, so
go that well.
Again, for reference, we have an Italian surname, so that's a lot of our struggle in terms of finding a name. But yeah, Charlotte is very English. I think the Royals had a Charlotte, didn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it has kind of made a comeback from Kate and Will's having their little girl.
Yes, it is a nice name.
It's a pretty name, yeah. So number 8, I've seen quite a few people using this recently. I don't personally like it, and it's the name Ophelia. I don't really know why I don't like it. Obviously it's quite Greek, so it just, to me, it just doesn't...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know why I don't like it, but I'm not going to say anything.
But yeah, it's not a name that I would ever have even thought of. And again, it's quite a difficult one to spell, and I'll share a little story with you actually. I had a client in the other day, and she said that she used to work in childcare, and they had 2 little girls. One of them's name was like Ava or something like that. It was really easy to spell and things like that. And one of them, I can't remember what it was. It was only like a 5-letter name or something. But the girl got so upset because she couldn't spell her own name, and she thought she was just being stupid. Like, she was really little, but she felt stupid because she couldn't spell her own name. And like, I would feel terrible for that. Obviously, granted, you know, a 5-year-old's not expected to be able to spell their own name, but I feel like with Ophelia, it's quite a difficult one.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Eloise. Again, probably not one I would ever have come to,
no.
But it is quite pretty. It's a variation on the next one, which is Eleanor. Again, do like the name Eleanor, and it is one of those, again, it's quite old-fashioned, but it's kind of coming back.
Yeah, it seems to be quite popular.
And again,
well,
there's different...
Now, there's a few more sort of surfacing.
Yeah, and there's different kind of nicknames, again, like Elle and things like that.
Yeah, you can sort of have a bit more freedom with, you know, you get called your name while you're a child, and then when you start branching out into getting a nickname, you can kind of choose what route you go down.
Yeah, and I feel like with Eloise and Eleanor, you kind of have that, which...
Yeah, like say you can be Elle, you can be Ellie, you can be all sorts, so you can sort of choose what you'd prefer to be called.
I don't know, I feel like they are probably both a little bit more difficult to spell as well. I'm dyslexic, so if someone said the name Eleanor, I wouldn't have a clue how to spell it. So yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a funny one, I guess. The next one, again, I've heard quite a few times recently, and I think it's like maybe Hebrew or something. Sorry if I do get any of these wrong, but I've watched quite a few of SJ's baby names videos, and I feel like she said that that's where this originated. And it's the name Aurelia. I'm not even sure how you pronounce it properly. But yeah, I think it is a really pretty name, number 11.
Yeah, I'd say Aurelia.
Yeah, personally, it's not a name that I would use.
Like, so you're getting into the realm of people sort of struggling to say it.
Yeah,
if
say
it's
it, spell it, and yeah, things like that. I think it is quite a difficult one. I like that it's different. It's not like traditional as such. So I like it in that sense. But yeah, it's not a name that I would have picked. Hence why my like channel name isn't my actual surname. Just because, obviously, 1, for kind of personal reasons, and 2, just because it's so difficult to spell and say that nobody would get it right, so I've just made it easier.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that it can almost not be embarrassing, but every single time you just know that it can be frustrating.
Yeah,
Just like, right, yeah, that's me.
I've only had that for a few years, but I can totally imagine that.
Going through school and stuff on the register, you know you'd be next and you'd just be waiting.
Just waiting for them to either say it wrong or
just pause, not say anything.
You know, it's completely fair enough. Like, not everyone's expected to know how to say everybody's own.
It's nice when you get like questions when they say, "Oh,
how do you say
it?" Or "Where's that from?" Or you know, it can spark a conversation, but at the same time, it can be probably more embarrassing than.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different ways I feel like we've heard the name said.
Yeah.
So number 12 is Korra. Again, definitely not very English or British. Not really a name I've ever heard of.
Again, I don't really want to generalise or like. I don't really want to say like, oh, that sounds to me like whatever name.
Yeah.
But I would associate
feel like it's more American. Maybe.
So
I feel like it's a name that...
It feels to me like it'd be more likely to get that from like Ireland or somewhere. Korra sounds like quite an Irishy sort of name.
Possibly, yeah.
But again, that's just a personal
feeling
from me.
Definitely.
But it's a nice name.
Yeah. It's just... Easy. Again, easy to spell, easy to read, all of that kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite a good name. 13, definitely a British name, Iris.
I quite like Iris.
I like the name Iris because... it's traditional, it's easy to say, it's easy to spell, it's pretty, it's like floral, it's just it's a nice all-rounder name. It definitely just reminds me of The Holiday.
One of my friends has got a little Iris.
It is, yeah, I feel like it's kind of Isla.
It's a cute old person name as well though.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. It kind of suits a lot of ages. I feel like it definitely suits like a little toddler and a little baby, and it suits like an older lady.
Little older.
I feel like maybe at kind of our age, I don't know, but then like I say, in The Holiday, obviously Iris, she was like in her 30s. So.
The thing is, where would you go with a nickname for that? Obviously it's quite short as it is, but if you...
Yeah, I don't think...
Quite a lot of people obviously like resent their name a little bit after a while. It's like, I hate being called Joseph. It's just...
Yeah, I think we both
hate
our names.
But then if you didn't...
We are lucky in the respect that we can shorten both of our names.
Yeah, but I can only like Joe and then I get female.
Yeah, but I can only have Vicky, or well, obviously nieces and nephew call me Tora, but other than that there's not a lot of different, considering it's a long name.
So where would you, that's the thing, where would you go with Iris? If you got to the point where you're like, right, I've been called Iris for like 20 years, I want something a bit...
Yeah, I don't know with that one. It's a bit of a funny one, but it's
nice though.
It's a pretty name, very pretty name. Number 14, again, one that I really like along with Olivia is Amelia, spelled with an A, so Amelia. So yeah, this is probably one of the ones actually on my list, just because I feel like it's one of the ones that kind of goes with our surname. It's still fairly easy to spell and say. There is still nicknames with it, probably ones that I wouldn't have necessarily used, but I used to work with a girl called Amelia, and she was nicknamed Millie, which I really like. So yeah, I feel like there's a bit of kind of scope with that one. So number 15 is the name Hazel. So again, it's one that I've heard probably more like coming back recently. It's fairly old-fashioned still, but it's pretty. It's not like your Margarets and those kind of Maureens. It's like a pretty older name, one that, like I say, I've heard quite a lot recently, and I think it's a really pretty name. And I don't think I know anyone necessarily that's got a Hazel. I know of like people that I kind of watch on YouTube and stuff, but not so much over here, I don't feel like.
I don't think I've ever met anyone.
I used to work with an older lady called Hazel, but that's about it. I've never met like a younger Hazel or like anyone that's like shouted their kid's name in a shop and said that.
Because I mean, it's a pretty distinctive name, isn't it? And again, you can't really have much of a nickname for it. Haze, I guess, but that's a bit.
Or just H kind of thing.
But I don't remember meeting anyone called Hazel, going to school with anyone called Hazel. It sort of, I don't know whether it vanished for a little while and then it sort of made a comeback.
Yeah. So number 16 is Isabella. Again, obvious reasons. I don't think it's one that we would use just because of how long it is.
It's nice and you can shorten it, but it would be difficult to sort of spell for.
Yeah, it's one of those, like you say, it's got loads of different kind of areas for a nickname like Izzy,
Oh,
Bella.
yeah, I quite like it. It's quite a pretty name.
It's yeah, and it really does suit like a cute little girl, you know, Isabella. I find all of the ones with like Bella on the end, they are very pretty.
Yeah.
So number 17 is again a very British name, I feel like, and that's Alice.
Well, yeah, I had quite a few Alice's at school.
Yeah, I feel like Alice has been it's a traditional name and it has kind of stayed around, but it's not been overused. I feel like it's one, like my name, I feel like obviously it's quite a traditional name, it's Victoria, and it has stayed around, but I know a lot of Vickies, so I feel like it's a lot more overused than the likes of like Alice. Again, Alice, you can't really get it wrong, you can't say it wrong, you can't really spell it wrong.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bet. It's a safe bet, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only thing is Puddle of Mud ruined it a bit.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, don't worry.
There is a variation on that. I don't know if it's on this list, and that's Alicia. I quite like the name Alicia. Again, could be a little bit more difficult to say and spell.
With an S or a C? With a C?
With a C. But just with an IA at the end, I guess that's how you would spell it. I'm not 100% sure. So number 18 is the name Ivy. It's quite a traditional name, I feel like. Again, it's very similar to Iris, like in terms of it being fairly floral, kind of traditional, but not like really old-fashioned.
Short and
sweet.
But I wouldn't say it would be on my list. Yeah.
No. So number 19 is the name Evelyn. So
I think that's gotten massive.
Very similar. Yeah, it's an old-fashioned name, but it has really made a comeback. My sister, in fact, has a little girl called Evelyn as well, and yeah, I know quite a lot of Evelyns that have been born over the last kind of 10 years.
It's kind of had a bit of a boom.
Yeah, definitely, and there's good reason
for
that.
Name,
it is a really nice name, and again, there is different ways you can kind of nickname. You know, it could be Eve. Or Evie at the start kind of thing, and then when it's slightly older it could be more of the Lynn side of things, or just Evelyn. I think that kind of suits like an older lady like Evelyn. I think that's quite a nice name. Yeah. It's a nice all-rounder.Maybe a little bit, I don't know if it's particularly difficult to spell. I don't know if there is variations on the spelling. There might be.
Yeah, I don't know, with an I, with a Y.
Because that's the name, that's the way that like my sister spells it, so I don't know if there is different ones, but yeah, it's a name that I like, but for obvious reasons I wouldn't use it. Again, I don't think it really goes with our surname.
Don't know, it's not terrible.
But it is one,
yeah.
I feel like, even given the length that it's a 6-letter name, it still goes with a lot of names, like a lot of surnames. So yeah, quite a nice name, Evelyn. So number 20 is the name Maya, I guess is how you would say it, Maya, M-A-Y-A. Don't really know how I feel about that name. I don't really know, again, I don't really know where it comes from. I don't feel like it's British, and I don't really know anyone with that name.
Maya, I don't know whether it's like...
Maya Jama. That's the only one I know.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's like a play on Mayan, as in like Mexican. I don't know whether it's a Spanish-y Mexican type thing.
Yeah, maybe.
With, like the Mayans. I don't really know where it comes from, but...
No.
It's not one I would probably have thought of if you said like name 10 girls' names. I don't think Maya would have been on my list.
No, but it's a nice name. But yeah, it's just a bit...
Nice. It's just probably not...
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know if it's town, city, whatever, but it's geographical names I don't personally...
Like country names.
Or even just like big, like Brooklyns and stuff like that. It's just not for me, personally, it's not for me.
No, and I feel like that's something that we don't really do over here. We don't really use names like that.
India and things like that, and it's just a bit
maybe much. More so, but I feel like in places like America and things, again, I don't want to generalise, but I feel like in places like America, they tend to go a little bit more out there with names, and they tend to use more of those kind of names, the geographical names, like that. It is a really pretty name, the name Adelaide, but I feel like it's too long. It's quite hard to spell. I wouldn't know how to spell that.
No.
And again, it's probably a lot of nicknames that you could use, and it is a pretty name.
Ask questions like, "Are you from there? What's the like affiliation with?"
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Geographical names just aren't particularly my cup of tea.
Yeah. So number 22. I don't know if this is geographical or not. I feel really stupid in saying that if it's not, but it's the name Genevieve.
It's very French.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
just because of Geneva.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is. No, I don't think it's an actual location, but
no.
Genevieve sounds like a very.
It does.
Sort of European name.
Yeah, it's not a name that I've come across. I don't feel like. I feel like I've heard it referenced, but I've never met someone called Genevieve or anything.
Or isn't it French take on Genevieve?
Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, it's probably a bit much for
for
our surname to have to contend with Genevieve as a first name, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Number 23, again, very kind of modern name, one that has been doing the rounds quite a lot recently, and that's the name Aria. Again, really pretty name, fairly easy to spell. I feel like you can't really get it wrong if you read that name.
No.
And yeah, it has a nice kind of sound to it, if you know what I mean. Obviously, it's not very British or anything, but it's the kind of name that you would say, like Aria. It just sounds really...
It's a bit different. It's kind of a bit more quirky, maybe.
Yeah, but I feel like it's being used quite a lot at the moment.
It's not something I've heard anyone call their children, but again, I've
heard it on quite a few lists and stuff. So number 24, not a name I don't think I've ever heard of, and that's the name Amara. I'll try and put these on the screen as I go as well, so you can kind of see the spelling of these.
Again, I've not come across it. I've not really heard it.
No, it's not one. It's pretty nice. It's a nice name. I think it's very much like Maya. It's a bit of a. It's nice, but I don't know if I would use. I couldn't see myself using a name like that.
No, like I say, I can't picture anyone sort of with
that name.
That name.
No.
But
it's a bit of a funny one.
At the same time, it's probably popular somewhere. I just don't know where that would be.
Yeah, definitely. So then the next name is Mia, so M-I-A rather than M-Y-A, and this is a name that I think both of us quite like.
Yeah, it's short. It's quite pretty.
Short, it's sweet. It is a pretty name, and yeah, I feel like again it's got the Amelia vibes. It's a little bit more kind of maybe a little bit more Mediterranean-y, and things like that. So yeah. It is probably on my shortlist.
It would probably be on mine. Yeah,
it's a nice name. Number 26 is the name Freya. Again, I've heard this quite a lot, but it's not one that I would gravitate towards.
I know one person with a child called Freya, but it's not.
I feel like it's more modern.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a traditional British name that's made a comeback or where it.
No, I'm not really sure with that one. One that probably is quite British is the next one, number 27, Chloe. Again, probably wouldn't be one that I would use. It is quite overused, the name Chloe. I went to school with quite a lot of Chloes. It's a nice name, easy to spell, and you can't really get it wrong.
Quite a lot of people spell it Cleo, though, don't they? Because the L-O-E bit.
The L-O-E bit, I suppose it can confuse people.
Quite a few people have, spell it Chloe or read it Cleo, or it's something that you can
maybe more difficult. I think if maybe English isn't your first language, because I feel like it is more of an English name. Maybe, but yeah, again, nice name, but probably wouldn't use that. The next one is number 28, and this is actually a name that I quite like, but again, I don't know if I would use it. And it's the name Elodie. I'm just curious to see his reaction to that.
I don't know really. It's sort of... Is it trying to be melody? What is it?
There's that variation of it as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
The name Melody is quite... it's
nice.
I've heard of quite a few melodies.
So I've not really. That to me would seem a tiny bit more American, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know...
What, Elodie?
Both. Really, I don't know many British people that...
No, I only actually know one Elodie, and it's a fellow nail tech that lives around locally to me. Her name's Elodie, and yeah, I think it's a really pretty name. It's like a really pretty name, and I don't think it's used that much.
I don't know anyone. I don't know any, obviously. Much.
But again, you could use the whole like L-E, L, that kind of thing with in terms of like nicknames and
I don't know, really,
I just think it's quite nice.
I'm sort of not really, I'm neither here nor there with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit of a...
No. Yeah, that's fair. Number 29, Nora. I feel like
it's a very oldie.
Yeah, you're just kind of setting them up for
I can imagine
old age.
like everyone having a grandma Nora, but
yeah,
I can't imagine having
a baby.
No.
Or a young child.
But it's weird because obviously to get to being a grandma you'd have to
go through that stage. That's the weird thing.
Nora's maybe just a tiny bit old.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that.
It's cute as like an old person name.
Yeah.
It is a cute name, but yeah.
I don't think it. No. So number 30.
You're offending so many people.
I hope we're not offending anyone. Obviously, like
all your listeners are going to have all these names.
No, there is absolutely no intention on like.
It's all subjective to us. It's not like a.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is just us, like our opinions on these names. So number 30, again, a name that I quite like, but I don't think I would use, is Violet. Again, I feel like it's quite old-fashioned, floral again, and it is pretty, but I don't know.
This just makes me think of a colour.
It kind of makes me think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah, that horrible one. I don't know what her name was, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know, again, that's a bit of a sort of meh name for me. I'm not...
Yeah, I don't
mind it. It's not like... I don't think, oh, that's not a very nice name when I hear it, but it's not one I would instantly go, oh,
no,
I really like that.
No. And I feel like because, obviously, it would be essentially the same initials as me, I don't think it's like, I don't know, the initials are a bit... Because they're one thing that I didn't even think about. Like, a couple of people have said, oh, you know, you've got to think of the initials. And I was like, oh my god, I never would have even thought of that.
Yeah, no names with B now, otherwise
exactly.
BS forever.
Exactly, and I just think that VS, obviously, one, it could be mistaken for BS, and two, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't really, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, it's just one of them
The
things.
minefield of picking names is...
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Kids can get really creative with their insults, so
exactly.
I know that firsthand.
So, number 31 is the name Lucy. Is that British? Would you say that's British?
I think so, because you get, obviously, like, the Mediterranean variants of it.
Lucifer.
Lucia and things like that for. So
yeah,
I went to school with, again, quite a lot of Lucy's.
Yeah,
it was quite a popular name when I was a child.
It's been fairly popular for quite a while. I don't think it's one that's particularly like really old fashioned that you wouldn't use it, but it is fairly traditional still.
I've not heard it recently though. I've not heard of anyone
calling their children Lucy. I don't think it's particularly older than like us.
I don't know.
I don't think there's anyone like in their kind of 50s and 60s with that name.
Yeah, I remember
from like your mum's friend.
Going through school, I met a lot of Lucys and like friends of friends being Lucys, but I can't picture these days people naming children Lucy.
No, not so
much. So maybe it's not as common as it used to be, which is probably quite nice.
Yeah, but again, it is a nice name. Again, very easy in terms of spelling it, saying it.
Yeah, you can't really get that wrong.
No. 32 is the name Clara. Again, I do really like the name Clara. Again, you can't really get it wrong, which I like. And obviously it's fairly short.
We'd go with our surname.
Probably, yeah. Don't know if it's one that I would have ever thought of.
It's quite European, it's quite Italian.
Yeah, maybe. A lot more than,
I know somebody with a little girl called Clara.
And I know a Clara too. I don't know if she's watching this. Hello if you are. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I quite like the name Clara. It's quite cute. And obviously you could like nickname it to Lara or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is quite cute. So number 33, bit out there, Anastasia.
That's a lot for me.
It is a lot. Again, definitely wouldn't be one that I would use because of the length of it and having to spell that. But I think it would just be constantly Anna. Because
and then obviously I've got a million of those. Like
yeah, exactly. Anna's very like Italian name, so I feel like there's not a lot of room for scope with that one in terms of like nicknames and things.
No, it's not for me.
Or shortened versions. No, it does honestly just remind me of the Disney film Anastasia. So because you don't know any other Anastasias. It's like exactly, and that's it. It's but that for that reason it's probably quite a good one. It's not particularly well used.
It's not common, but
no, and it's a nice name. It is a nice name. It's very kind of almost a little bit regal, but
maybe
not pretentious, but I don't know. I feel like if you turned up to a birthday party, oh hi, I'm Anastasia, like
it's quite a princessy sort of name, isn't it?
Yeah, but, hence the Disney.
Oh, is she?
Well, no, I don't think she's a princess, but she's from Disney, isn't she? So I feel like it's a bit more.
Yeah.
You know. So number 34 is again a name that I quite like, and it's the name Rose. I think it's just such a pretty name. I love floral names. Again, I don't think they particularly go with our surname, but I personally like them.
Yeah, some are nice, some.
Yeah, and I feel like Rose, again, it suits all ages. It's very pretty name.
I'm again sort of not really. I don't mind it. No, it's not. It doesn't stand out to me as like, oh yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
It's just a sort of.
It's quite a nice middle name as well.
It's quite. It's a big
more of a
middle
common
name. I think a lot of people have
Rose
as a middle name these days.
Yeah. Number 35. Again, not really sure where this one comes from, and it's the name Ada. I feel like maybe it's a bit more of an old-fashioned name. I can imagine it maybe used more like in the 60s kind of thing.
Yeah, Ada. I don't really know. It's not.
It sounds like it's an abbreviation of something.
I don't know, but it's not really.
It's just a bit of it's blah. It's like, I don't know. To me, anyway.
I'm not a fan. Really.
No, it's just not. I don't know. Similarly with 36, the name Astrid, again, definitely not English, and I don't think I've ever really heard it. It's probably, again, as your reaction.
Doesn't sound like a very pretty name to me. I don't think, Astrid's really pretty.
It's not particularly feminine at all. I personally feel like, anyway, I feel like maybe it's more of an Eastern European name, maybe?
Maybe. It just draws up weird things. So
Astrid.
Hearing Astrid makes me think of words like putrid and just not. I don't know. I don't like nice things. Don't go into my head when you say.
Yeah, it's a funny one, but yeah, it's not one that I would use.
No, not for me. There's a few names that just sort of hit that little spot. You just think, no.
Nope.
Yeah. I wonder if any of them will be on here.
Yeah, well, one of them probably is the next one, and again, probably suits an older person, and it's the name Audrey. I couldn't name a baby Audrey.
It's not as bad as Astrid.
No, it's definitely.
That to me sounds very American as well.
Audrey.
Aubrey is very American, isn't it?
Yeah, with a B.
Yeah, there's a lot
with
of
a D. Yeah.
Audrey.
Audrey Hepburn, you know.
That's it. Yeah, it's not terrible.
And it is a nice older lady name again.
It's not very. I don't feel like it's very common. You don't hear it a lot.
Don't know. I think it's one of those names that's fairly old-fashioned that hasn't made a comeback, unlike quite a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like your Evelyns and stuff like that. So the next one is one of the Bella names again. It's Arabella.
That's not really for me.
Arabella.
I don't think.
No. Like I say, I quite like the Bella names. I think they're quite cute, but
it's just how many different versions of it can you have?
Well, that's the thing. You can have so many. I can't remember what was the previous one. Isabella. Yeah, I prefer Isabella. I feel like than Arabella. Number 39. If you know us, then you'll know why I like this name. It's the name Penelope.
Should have gone and got it.
So we have a cat called Penny. It's not shortened we call her different things. She's not actually a Penelope, she is a Penny. And yeah, that's why I think the name Penelope, it's just so beautiful. I feel like it's quite
cute, but it's pretty old-fashioned.
It's old-fashioned, but the newer version, the Penny, I just love that name. I love the name Penelope. Because I feel like it's very. Yeah. I don't know what the word would be, but it's a nice name. I really like that name. But again, obviously I wouldn't use it because I have a cat called Penny. So yeah, Penelope. So we've basically already touched on number 40, which is Anna. Again, isn't one that we would use just because it is very overused.
I've got a lot of Annas in my family.
And I feel like it is quite used in the UK as well. Still.
Yeah, it's a pretty big. Well, Anne as well.
Anne, yeah. Number 41 is a name that I really like, but probably wouldn't use just because it's one of those, like, people can say it in different ways, and I feel like that would be really annoying to have to correct people all the time. And it's the name Esme. Again, I think you can spell this a couple of different ways, and people say it like Esme or Esme, and things like that, and that would really annoy me. But I love the name. I think it's really pretty.
Yeah, again, it's a bit of a... I don't... If I was to hear it, I wouldn't think, ooh.
I think it's a nice name.
It's nice.
And again, I think it kind of suits all ages, and it's still it's quite a modern.
I think it's gotten quite again.
It's gotten quite popular.
Obviously, it's popular because it's on that list, but
yeah.
I feel like on YouTube and stuff, you hear people use it quite a lot for like their children's names.
Yeah, completely different to the name of the 41, Evangeline. That just, it's with like Anastasia.
It's like evangelist minus
it's too much.
Like Angeline. Evangeline is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely not one.
It's a mouthful as well as it doesn't really.
I don't know. Yeah, it's mainly.
You know, like certain names just have a ring to them.
Yeah.
Just
no.
To me, it just doesn't really.
I agree.
It just. Yeah, I just think of evangelist when I hear that. And
This is just a funny one. 43. I don't think I've ever heard this. Lilith.
I've heard of Lilith as a name before.
I
think it's quite old. It's quite an oldie
name.
When you've got names like Lily and things like
That's
that.
That's the thing. Lily, Lillian, all of those kind of.
Lily's a bit more pretty.
Liliana.
Yeah, whereas Lilith is a little bit.
I feel like it's
It's got something missing from the end.
Yeah, and I feel like if you've got a bit of a lisp as well, like.
I truly didn't think of that. Yeah. No, Lilith's.
Not that should be a consideration, but it just when you say it, it sounds like you should be saying something else. Like you say, there should be something like on the end.
Imagine it being like a history sort of name.
Maybe, yeah. It might be one of those ones that people do use because again,
certain people might just hear it.
Yeah, I've never heard that name personally.
So. I've not known anyone be called Lilith, or I've never met a Lilith, but I've heard of the name.
Oh, okay. Number 44, definitely quite overused. Wouldn't be one that I would pick at all, and it's the name Claire. Just because I find it's a nice name, and it is a nice enough name, but there are variations on spelling. It's very much like Vicky. You can spell it loads of different ways, and I find if you were a Claire, you would be quite annoyed at Claire because like people would just probably spell it Clairair, but you could have an E on the end. You could, it's one of those.
Bit of a minefield, yeah, I suppose.
It's a bit more difficult, but I just find it's just a bit.
It's quite nice.
I don't know where it comes from. It's similar to Clara, but
I don't know. I just get a feeling that you maybe have a more Irishy heritage if you're a Claire.
Yeah, I don't know why. Let us know, Clara, if you're watching. Number 45. Again, a name that I quite like personally. Not sure if I would use it necessarily, and it's the name Maisy, spelt with an IE.
It seems again quite a popular one. Like these days, I think a lot of children are Maisy.
I feel like I know quite a lot of young girls with that name. I don't think I went to school with anyone with that name.
Yeah, I don't know really. And like I say, it's nice, but I don't think it's something I would particularly use.
So 36 again, probably sounds a little bit more Eastern European-y. I think is Elena. Again, nice name, but don't know. It wouldn't be one that I would have.
I'm not sure if it would go with our name anyway, but it's not.
It's an A and an O.
But then, would people mistake it between Helena?
47 is Phoebe. So we have recently rewatched Friends because
I have a
lockdown.
newfound love for the name Phoebe. Just because.
Yeah, I like the name Phoebe. I think it is a nice name. I think it suits certain people more.
I wouldn't be able to get over if we used Phoebe as a name.
And you'd constantly spell it like how Phoebe spells it to the soap opera digest lady that interviews Joey when she spells her name. P as in Phoebe, H as in Hebe, O as in Evie, E as in hello there, mate.
That gets me. I've got a newfound love for the name Phoebe now.
Yeah.
I don't think we could use it. It wouldn't go with our name at all. But it's just. Yeah.
And I feel again, I wouldn't personally be able to tell you how it was spelt, apart from if it was spelt the same way as Phoebe from Friends, because that's the only way I can spell it. But it is one of those, like, you genuinely have to think about it, like how to spell it. But it's a nice name. It's a nice enough name.
I just laugh now every time I hear it.
Yeah. So number 48, again, definitely one that I wouldn't have used. Similar to the whole Adelaide thing is Adeline. No. Again, I feel like that's maybe a bit more American.
Yeah.
Adeline.
Not for me.
Adeline. I'm not sure. It's got an E on the end though, so Adeline probably wouldn't be one that I would use. 49, definitely very British, definitely very traditional. Elizabeth.
That is very British.
Really?
Very,
Again, a lot of different
Lizzie,
variations on the surname thing. You can call it Liza, Lizzie, Beth. You know, there's a lot of different ones with that one, which I quite like. So you don't have to be an Elizabeth.
It's quite
You're
popular.
Elizabeth if you're naughty. But
it's quite popular at school. I went to school with like quite a lot of
I
Lizzies.
don't think I did. Yeah. Or I might have done and not realised that their name was actually Elizabeth. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of Lizzies at school and stuff. But I don't know.
It's quite a nice name, as traditional names go. I prefer it to my name, as traditional girl names.
Yeah, I think if you had a very British surname like Smith or something like that, it would be
Elizabeth.
Really nice.
Yeah. It is a really nice name actually. I really like that
just
one.
lucked out.
So number 50 is the name Emma. Again, I find it's a bit it's kind of like Claire. I find it's just a bit, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something and nothing.
No, sort of.
It's a nice name.
No, quite a lot of
but it just wouldn't be. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, it's quite used, and it does suit all ages, but it just wouldn't be one that I would use.
Yeah, for us, it just doesn't really go with our name.
It doesn't.
I don't really know how we'd use it. Obviously, there's and Emma already in my family.
Right, I'm going to pass over to you for the next 50.
Oh dear Lord.
So from 51.